Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you would never ask, Heidi. Today is Wednesday, March the 23rd. It's National Chia Day. I always wanted a chia pet, and I've never gotten one.
Really?
I was afraid that, I'd forget to water it, and I wouldn't take it for
Oh,
walks.
maybe I should get you a chia pet.
I'm just kidding. It's Chia Day. It's also National Chip and Dip Day, National Near Miss Day, National Melba Toast Day, National Puppy Day, and National Hot Tamale Day. CHIA, that'd be chia, right? Or is it Chai Day today?
Chai is just CHI.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was second guessing myself. I don't have a chai pet either, just in case. Hey, I do have a couple of awesome guests today. I have Greg and Peter Brady joining me.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, seriously, it's actually Barry Williams and Christopher Knight who played Peter and Greg Brady.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to be chatting with two of the Brady Bunch cast on the program today. I'm excited about that. It's on the way.
At BetterCreditCards.com, our mission is to help you get a better credit card. Why pay more interest than you need to? We have cards with amazing points and perks. If you're not a point person and just want the lowest interest rate, you can find those too at BetterCreditCards.com. You can also find credit cards designed to help you build your credit. BetterCreditCards.com wants to help you get a better credit card. Give yourself a little credit at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. What's the absolute saddest song of all time, Heidi?
I don't know.
It's a song from 1992 from a band called R.E.M. Everybody Hurts.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. That's
According to a
pretty
survey
miserable.
of 2000, it's a good song, but it is kind of sad. 2,000 adults in the United Kingdom. Second, Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You, and Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven. Also in the top 5 of the saddest songs of all time, Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You, so specifically her version, even though that's a Dolly Parton song. And then Yesterday by the Beatles. Some interesting findings from this poll. 36% choose a sad song when they're feeling nostalgic. 24% play somber music after a breakup, and almost half, surprisingly, believe that a sad song can brighten their day. We don't just wrap this up on the downer. Here's the top 3 happiest songs. Do you think you know one of those, Heidi?
Walking on Sunshine.
Well, son of a gun, you're right. I'll tell you that in order. Queen's Don't Stop Me Now. Number 2, Dancing Queen by ABBA. And the number 1 happiest song on the planet, according to this survey, Walking on Sunshine.
It's hard to
by
be
Katrina
sad
Underwood.
when that song comes on.
Those are some happy, happy songs. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
It's Bernie Carrick, former New York City Police Commissioner. If you own a gun, you need to check out StopBoxUSA.com, the safest solution to keep a firearm in your home and get instant, reliable access to that gun. It's an awesome weapon retention product, especially if you have little kids at home or frequent visitors. Get access to your gun in under a second. StopBox is the safest solution to keep a firearm in your home.
Use discount code RADIO to save 10% at StopBoxUSA.com.
You need to check out StopBoxUSA.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by RadioTravelGroup.com. Heidi, did you know that incompetent people are often so incompetent they don't even realize that they are incompetent?
Yes.
Wait,
yes, I
why
did.
did you just point at me? According to Dunning-Kruger effect, that's what it's called, people who are not skilled or ignorant in a certain area are too inept to even notice that they're not skilled or ignorant in that area. So they end up thinking they're far more competent in that area than they actually are. Now, here's the thing I want to say. I know some people who are super awesome, amazing, nice, wonderful people. But then there are certain areas of their life where they think they're really good at something that they're just not so good at that.
Right.
They're good at other things, but they're not as good at that as they think they are. So that would be that Dunning-Kruger effect. So I probably fit in that category for many, many things myself. So don't make fun of us, all right? We're trying out here. We don't know everything, but now we know this. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now, Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. There's a reason Sarah Hyland doesn't remember filming some of the episodes of Modern Family. She was basically asleep for some of those.
What?
Yeah, on co-star Julia Bowden's Quitters podcast. She played Haley on the series, by the way. They discussed her second kidney transplant and how her kidney dysplasia caused her to forget filming episodes because she was so tired and she wasn't really even awake for some of it. She was basically in a trance almost. So that's kind of crazy. Paramount announced they're going to hold back some of these movies that they're putting out for the world, but they're not going to put them out for the whole world. Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum have one called The Lost City. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, both of those not going to be released in Russia. Follows news of other studios doing the same thing. Warner Brothers paused the release of The Batman. Disney yanked the Pixar film Turning Red, and Sony pulled Morbius. So none of those are going to film, or not film, but none of those are going to air in Russia as well. And Larry David's fans are going to have to curb their enthusiasm. There was a documentary that was supposed to come out on HBO, and now it looks like maybe it's not coming out. Or if it does come out, Larry said, I'll do it, but I want to do it in front of an audience. So I don't know if they get it all figured out yet or not, but we'll be
That dude is funny.
He really is. We'll be on the edge of our seats for that. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
The Vegas Travel Center is offering 3 days and 2 nights accommodations to Vegas. They'll completely waive the package price. Plus, you get tickets to your choice of activities as well as meals. Jump on this now. Obviously, a deal like this isn't going to last. When they're gone, they're gone. So don't miss out. Just call 605-210-5220 and they'll get you set up for a great getaway. Call now for this special radio offer. 605-210-5220. That's 605-210-5220.
Now, your scoop of the day comes your way courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Maybe, just maybe, we know what Stonehenge is all about now.
Really?
According to an archaeologist, the imposing group of monument dominating in the southwest of England were constructed as an ancient timekeeping system.
Isn't that what we've always known?
Well, the central axis of the megalith, constructed an estimated 5,000 years ago, was and still is aligned with the sunrise at midsummer and the sunset at midwinter. The stones perfectly frame the rising and setting sun when days are their longest and shortest. It's long been thought that the monument was used for ceremonial purposes rather than an accurate way to track the days, months, and seasons. But Timothy Darville, a professor of archaeology at the UK's Bournemouth University, concluded and conducted a study. They concluded that Stonehenge served as a solar calendar. They say it's a pretty complex explanation, but suffice to say, this guy knows what he's talking about. He says Stonehenge is a place where the timing of ceremonies and festivals was connected to the very fabric of the universe and celestial movements in the heavens.
Is this a news story? Because I could have sworn I heard this years ago that it was like a timepiece.
Okay, yes, this is a new story where he's saying
He's saying it's still a timepiece, and we know that
but he's
now.
basically calculated the odds of it being anything other than that when it does all of this perfectly.
All right, thanks,
Wow.
Charlie.
And Tony Hawk got hurt. He broke a femur. Did you know that?
Oh, that's too
He
bad.
was skating, but he's not done. He took to Instagram with new injury, posting a photo of his x-rays and himself on crutches, saying he broke his elbow 20 years ago and managed to make a full recovery, and he's saying he's going to do that with this too. So
I understand that's the most painful injury a person can have.
Yeah, we heard that in not a documentary. I almost said documentary. A comedy, stand-up comedy from Brian Regan, which is almost like a documentary. All right, scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com.
Aloha! Are you ready to enjoy a little slice of paradise? GMDVacations.com is a family-owned, professionally managed vacation rental in sunny Kauai, Hawaii. Your family will absolutely love the area, and the vacation rental has room for up to 6 guests. Why stay in hotel rooms when you can have your own area at a vacation rental from GMDVacations.com? Visit Hawaii with us and make your trip to this tropical paradise one to remember. On Facebook and Instagram, online at gmdvacations.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Super excited to visit with 2 amazing guys right now. I grew up watching them. You guys probably grew up watching them on the Brady Bunch. Greg Brady, and we have Peter Brady. We actually have Barry Williams and Christopher Knight joining us right now. They've got a new podcast. It's called The Real Brady Bros. And we're going to start with Mr. Barry Williams. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing great, and I'm happy to be on with you. This has been a really fun project for us. And we do feel like brothers in a Brady kind of way. So it's an appropriate name for the podcast.
We also have Christopher Knight joining us. And Christopher, you guys did kind of grow up like brothers.
We did, and continue to grow alongside one another for our entire life. This Brady thing has kept us tightly tethered throughout our lifetime. So looking back, it's been a really exceptional experience.
And we'll go back to Barry right now. How old were you when you very first started the Brady Bunch, and how long did you guys do this program?
Started
when I was 14 years old. I'm 4 years older than Chris, and we started the podcast over a year ago, but we just, as they say, dropped the first episode within about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, a little more. February 1st, actually, was our first drop.
That is,
we're brand new, gaining audience for our show. Though we've been recording shows for now a little over a year.
So when people get a chance to listen to the Brady Bros podcast, they're going to learn all kinds of Brady things. Christopher, do you have a favorite episode so far?
For me, I would have to say Peter and the Wolf. I think that was our first episode that dropped. Peter and the Wolf is the episode in which Barry solicits Peter's help on a double date. That week for me was traumatizing for reasons I explained in the episode, because the girls they cast as Greg's dates were not just older than me, they were also older than Barry. They were actually Lloyd's age, conveniently so. Lloyd Schwartz, who was our associate producer at the time, never been on a date, and here I'm going to be on a date with this now older woman, and of course I got myself tied into knots coming up to the shoot day. It all went well, and it comes up on screen well, but there's a lot of angst underneath it all.
That is awesome. Now, there are some diehard Brady fans who know every little detail about every episode, so we'll talk to Barry about this one. Is it kind of weird to talk to fans who know more about the Bradys, even though you are one of the Bradys?
Oftentimes people know more trivia than I do. I mean, they've memorized the license plate on the station wagon. They know the street address number and exactly how it's spelled and things like that. But the fun thing about what we're doing here with this podcast is kind of what Chris just talked about. We dissect the show. It's an episodic sort of recap, but with our perspective today. So we take a look back at the details and how we experienced it, and what keeps coming up is how different the similar experiences are, but how differently we interpreted them. For instance, Chris was very nervous about going out on this date, and his big brother Greg, was kind of helping him along with that. Chris was terrified. I couldn't wait because we only knew each other in those days, and so we were going to have new people on, and I was going to be like somebody that would be dateable, and so I was happy to, really excited to see him.
to dig even a little deeper on how this expresses something that is unknown, not just to an audience, but to our fellow castmates and associates. I just mentioned Lloyd Schwartz was our associate producer and son of Sherwood Schwartz, the producer. He listened to our podcast, The Peter and the Wolf, and called me to say he didn't know I had that kind of feeling going on into the episode. And, of course, Barry also didn't realize that. I believe, Barry, you expressed that during the taping of our podcast. Because I kept it all inside because I was embarrassed that I was feeling the way I was feeling. So
right.
This is an opportunity for us to share some of those really private inner feelings that might have gone on for whatever reason during the taping of the show. One of the things that gives our audience an advantage over us with respect to trivia is they have been watching it over and over again for 50 years.
Yeah.
Barry and I will have watched the episode before doing the podcast. It might be the first time we've watched it in 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
So it's brand new again to us, but not enough viewing yet to remember every line, nor the license plate of, the car. But our audience is more adept at the finer details of each show.
Well, we appreciate you guys taking some time to chat. I wish I had 15 more minutes because I could do this all day. But thank you again for taking the time to chat with me.
Well, let's do it again. Okay, thanks so much.
Absolutely. Again, our guests have been Greg and Peter Brady, also really known as Barry Williams and Christopher Knight. Their new podcast is available now. I'll throw a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
At bettercreditcards.com, our mission is to help you get a better credit card. Why pay more interest than you need to? We have cards with amazing points and perks. If you're not a point person and just want the lowest interest rate, you can find those too at bettercreditcards.com. You can also find credit cards designed to help you build your credit. BetterCreditCards.com wants to help you get a better credit card. Give yourself a little credit at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
One of the asteroids seen in The Empire Strikes Back is actually a potato.
Really?
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Toto was paid $125 per week while filming The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's a nice
He's a
gig.
dog, by the way. Fun fact for you,
What's
Heidi.
that, John?
Frogs sometimes eat enough fireflies that they themselves will glow.
Really? Really?
Yeah. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In England, the Speaker of the House is not allowed to speak. It's kind of a bizarre title for them.
I kind of wish ours was the same way.
Would you just? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
An average person will forget 80% of what they learned today. That's good to know. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Roses cut in the afternoon last longer than roses cut in the morning.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
But we did learn a lot of stuff right there. Several fun facts to ponder. My favorite is still the potato. One of the asteroids in Empire Strikes Back is an actual potato.
That's funny.
That is funny. Several fun facts. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
It's Bernie Carrick, former New York City Police Commissioner. If you own a gun, you need to check out StopBoxUSA.com, the safest solution to keep a firearm in your home and get instant, reliable access to that gun. It's an awesome weapon retention product, especially if you have little kids at home or frequent visitors. Get access to your gun in under a second. StopBox is the safest solution to keep a firearm in your home.
Use discount code RADIO to save 10% at StopBoxUSA.com.
You need to check out StopBoxUSA.com.
Now, the question of the day comes your way courtesy of RadioTravelGroup.com. I posed this question on social media, and then people can tune in here to get the answer, or they can look in our show notes at johnandheidishow.com. But here's the question first. 60% of adults say they can't make it through the day without some of this.
Coffee.
What is it? Close.
Really? I was
Something that goes into
wrong.
Coffee. 60% of adults say they can't make it through the day
Caffeine.
without some of this.
Caffeine.
Strike two, you're out.
What?
Sugar is the answer.
Really?
Yeah, sugar. So a lot of people put sugar in their coffee. But there's some people who have sugar with no coffee involved at all. So I can make it through the day without sugar, but I can tell you we've done diets where there's no sugar involved. And day one, I get a headache.
It is tough.
Day two, I'm so crabby that you don't want to be around me. And by day three, I forgot that I was on the diet, and I'm just basically a drone walking around. So once you get past day three, it's not so bad. That is your question of the day. Comes your way, courtesy of RadioTravelGroup.com.
The Vegas Travel Center is offering 3 days and 2 nights accommodations to Vegas. They'll completely waive the package price. Plus, you get tickets to your choice of activities as well as meals. Jump on this now. Obviously, a deal like this isn't going to last. When they're gone, they're gone. So don't miss out. Just call 605-210-5220 and they'll get you set up for a great getaway. Call now for this special radio offer. 605-210-5220. That's 605-210-5220.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. The Tinder swindler is charging $20,000 for nightclub appearances.
This is the craziest.
It really
thing.
is. He's going all over the place, and people are paying him to do this. And he shows up in a 5-star hotel suite, a black SUV car service, 2 full-time security guards. He's being sued, by the way, by the diamond-rich family that he claimed to be a part of during the time he was swindling people on Tinder, bilked millions from young women. The lawsuit filed on behalf of the family. It's a billionaire diamond magnate. His story was recently documented on Netflix, a true crime documentary called The Tinder Swindler. He spent about a decade traipsing around Europe, posing as an heir to this diamond fortune. While convincing women to give him money, he promised that he would pay them back, but he never did.
Right.
And now he's getting $20,000 to show up at a nightclub.
I can't even
don't
believe
understand
that.
that.
This is a huge problem right now in society where we're
Don't glorify
glorifying these horrible
Yeah,
people.
don't glorify it. It's bizarre. It's weird. That's why it's today's weird news. Brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Here's the list that was sent to me. You know it's time to go home when you have absolutely no idea where your shoes are. It's time to go. Where are my shoes? I don't know. It's time to go. Next, you had to get some help to pull your pants up in the ladies' room. Okay, yeah, it's definitely time to go home. That's the case. You've mistaken a police car for a cab, and you shouted obscenities when they don't stop for you. Yeah, that's definitely time to go home. You drop your 3 a.m. burger on the floor, and you pick it up and start eating it again. Yeah, it's time to go home.
I've done that when it's not time to go
Yeah,
home.
it's definitely time. There are less than 3 hours before you have to start work. Yeah, it's time to go home. You found a deeper side to the office nerd. Yeah, it's time to go home. Your man you're flirting with used to be your 5th grade teacher. Yeah, it's definitely time to go home. And you think you're in bed, but your pillow feels strangely like pizza. Yeah, and there's more if you want to read the rest. It's The List, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. You can find the whole list in the show notes for today at JohnandHeidiShow.com.
Aloha! Are you ready to enjoy a little slice of paradise? GMDVacations.com is a family-owned, professionally managed vacation rental in sunny Kauai, Hawaii. Your family will absolutely love the area, and the vacation rental has room for up to 6 guests. Why stay in hotel rooms when you can have your own area at a vacation rental from GMDVacations.com? Visit Hawaii with us and make your trip to this tropical paradise one to remember. On Facebook and Instagram, online at GMDVacations.com.
Time now for the quote of the day. It comes your way courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. This is Claire Foster is who this is from. It's actually Tina Fey, her character, Claire Foster, from the movie Date Night. I liked that movie. I liked it a lot. It was her and Steve Carell. Remember
right.
that?
Oh, yeah, I remember that movie.
That was a fun movie. Here's the quote. If we're going to pay this much for crab, it better sing and dance and introduce us to the Little Mermaid. That sounds like something Heidi would say, by the way. that very much, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that sounds exactly like something. Heidi is very witty. The funny thing is, there are people who go, Heidi doesn't say much on the radio. And then when I do let her say things, it's usually stuff I can't let her say.
He usually bleeps me, so I don't even try anymore.
It's good to be careful, because she's got a mind of her own, and it's... Well, she's banned on Facebook for life, pretty much, so if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of radiotravelgroup.com. And this is a story that could have been super sad, and it even starts out kind of sad, but what an amazing ending. A dog presumed to have died in an avalanche is home safe after spending days in the frigid cold in the mountains.
That's so crazy.
A skier and a snowboarder both survived an avalanche. This happened in Colorado last week. The second skier down triggered an avalanche, which means that they started and a thing fell. Anyway, it washed over the snowboarder. Deputy Director of the Colorado Avalanche Information Center is putting out this information. The skier deployed his airbag and was partially buried. The snowboarder, who was below, was unable to deploy her airbag, and she was partially buried without a viable airway. The skier was able to extract her. This could have gone a much different direction, they said. The couple also had their dog with them. After searching everywhere for the dog and following the avalanche, they left without being able to find the dog. It says, we did have some search and rescue members visit, and they didn't see any signs or tracks either. It was presumed our dog passed away in the avalanche. According to Lazar, the dog was found on Saturday night. Miraculously, the dog survived, dug his way out somehow.
That's awesome.
Made it back to Monarch Pass after spending many cold nights outside.
Poor thing.
Absolutely scary for the dog, but holy cow. Isn't that amazing?
It really is.
And this dog somehow made it through. And again, the odds of survival in those conditions were very, very low, but that dog did it. So
dogs always amaze me.
You know, they can
so
do.
many cool stories about dogs.
There were like 3 other interesting dog stories. People keep sending me those. You can send me, if you come across a story that you think, hey, this is good news, you can submit it at the bottom of the page at johnandheidishow.com. We'd love to share your story. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.